Nevaeh to lunch to have a sit down. Because I like to try to establish a relationship without Blue, because we don't never know where he gonna be when the time come. You know what I'm saying? So she declined. That's on her. I did what the Lord told me to do. You know, because she liable to look up and she getting ready to have a baby and he getting ready to get married. Some shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to keep the shit separate when it comes to these baby mamas and grandkids. I try to keep the shit separate, okay? Because you liable to look up and be in the delivery room and he be in Puerto Vallarta getting married some damn where. So that's why I just try to keep it separate. Because you don't never know.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
I know I'm all well, girl.
The internet did not wake up gently. It woke up to pure chaos, family drama, and a storyline so messy it makes reality TV look like a calm documentary. Because somehow, in the middle of everything going on around Blueface, his mother just stepped in and turned the entire situation into a full-blown online war. And when I say she stepped in, I mean she didn't knock, she didn't ask, she didn't even hesitate. Karlissa Saffold came in swinging with opinions, statements, and energy that instantly set the internet on fire. No warm-up, no filter, just straight pressure aimed directly at Nevaeh and her situation. Now here's where it gets wild. Because this isn't just random commentary. Oh no, this is family territory. This is bloodline talk. This is the kind of conversation that instantly turns into chaos the moment it hits social media. Because Karlissa didn't just speak, she made it very clear where she stands when it comes to her grandson. And when she said it, yeah, the timeline froze for a second. Because now people aren't just watching drama. They're watching a family CLAIM unfold in real time. And you already know how the internet reacts when things get personal. Everyone suddenly becomes a judge, a jury, and a full-time investigator with zero qualifications but maximum opinions. Fans started picking sides immediately. Some backing Karlissa like she just dropped the truth nobody wanted to say out loud. Others defending Nevaeh, calling the whole situation unnecessary, messy, and way too public. And then there's that third group. The ones sitting back, refreshing their feeds like it's a live episode waiting for the next twist. Because let's be honest, this doesn't feel like it's going to stop anytime soon. The more people react, the more statements come out, the more statements drop, the more tension builds. And now the question isn't just who's right, it's how far is this about to go? Because if this keeps escalating the way it started, yeah, this might turn into something nobody saw coming. It all started like every other day in the chaotic universe surrounding Blueface. Loud, unpredictable, and already trending before breakfast. 1 minute the timeline was arguing about old clips and recycled drama. And the next minute, boom, Karlissa Saffold steps into the spotlight and flips the entire narrative upside down like she just hit a reset button on the internet. Now Karlissa isn't new to speaking her mind. If anything, she's built a reputation for saying exactly what she wants, when she wants, with zero hesitation. But this time, this felt different. This wasn't casual commentary or a quick clapback. This was direct, personal, and aimed straight at Nevaeh in a way that immediately made people pause mid-scroll. Because the moment Karlissa opened her mouth, it wasn't just about opinions anymore. It became about family, bloodline, legacy, the kind of topics that instantly turn messy when they hit social media. And when she made it clear where she stood regarding Junior, yeah, that's when everything changed. The internet didn't just react, it exploded. Screenshots started flying. Clips got reposted at lightning speed. People were zooming in, replaying statements, analyzing tone like they were breaking down a courtroom confession. And within minutes, the timeline was split into two loud, aggressive sides with zero intention of backing down. On one side, you had Karlissa supporters riding hard. She said what needed to be said, they argued. She's protecting her family, nobody else was going to speak up. To them, this wasn't drama. This was a mother standing her ground, claiming what she believes is hers without apology. on the other side. Oh, they were not having it. Nevaeh supporters came through with equal energy, calling the whole situation unnecessary, disrespectful, and way too public. Why bring this online? Why make it messy? Some things should stay private. And honestly, that argument started gaining traction fast. Because let's be real, this isn't just random internet drama. This is real-life relationships being turned into content, and that always hits differently. But here's where things started getting even more complicated. Because the more people talked, the more details started surfacing. Old clips, past interactions, previous tensions, all of it got dragged back into the spotlight like receipts nobody asked for but everybody was ready to analyze. And suddenly, this wasn't just about one statement anymore. It was about a history, a messy, layered, complicated history. People started connecting dots that may or may not even exist. Remember when she said this? Didn't that happen last year? This isn't new. It's been building. And just like that, the narrative shifted from a single moment to a long-running storyline that's been quietly simmering beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Karlissa didn't exactly back down. If anything, her energy stayed the same, confident, direct, and bothered by the backlash. And that only added fuel to the fire. Because when someone refuses to soften their stance, the internet doesn't calm down. It gets louder. And then there's Nevaeh. Well, the timeline was going crazy. Her side of the situation became a focal point of curiosity. Was she going to respond? Was she going to clap back? Or was she going to stay quiet and let the storm pass? Every second of silence felt louder than words. And people were watching closely for any sign of movement, because in situations like this, silence can mean a lot of things. It can mean strategy, it can mean frustration, or it can mean the calm before something bigger. And while all of that was happening, one name kept hovering over the entire conversation like a shadow, Junior. Not as a participant, not as a voice, but as the center of everything being argued, claimed, and defended. And that's what made this situation hit differently. Because now it's not just about grown adults arguing online. It's about a child being placed in the middle of a public narrative that keeps getting louder by the minute. And whether people wanted to admit it or not, that added a layer of tension nobody could ignore. Still, the internet kept going. Debates turned into arguments. Arguments turned into full-blown online battles. Comment sections looked like war zones, with people choosing sides like they were picking teams in a championship game. And every new post, every new reaction, every new clip only pushed the situation further into chaos. And just when it felt like things couldn't get more intense, a new detail started circulating, something subtle, but powerful enough to shift the entire conversation again. Because this time, it wasn't just about what was said. It was about why it was said. And that question, it opened a door nobody was ready for. And just when it looked like the situation had already reached maximum chaos, the internet did what it does best. It turned the volume all the way up and refused to let it come back down. Because now, this wasn't just a disagreement anymore, it was a full-blown online showdown with sides forming faster than a reality show reunion episode. The moment Karlissa Saffold doubled down on her stance, the timeline snapped in half. Supporters came in loud, treating her words like a declaration that needed to be defended at all costs. She's speaking facts, some said. She's protecting her family name, others added. And just like that, her side turned into a full squad ready to argue with anybody who disagreed. But on the other side, oh, they came just as strong. Nevaeh supporters weren't trying to hear any of it. They started pushing back hard, calling the situation messy, unnecessary, and borderline disrespectful. Why take this online? Became the main question, echoing across comment sections. And the more that question got asked, the more people started feeling uncomfortable. Because now it wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was turning into something that felt real. And the internet, it thrives in that space. Memes started flooding every platform like a storm nobody could stop. One viral post showed a split-screen Karlissa labeled as Family Protector Mode and Nevaeh labeled as Internet Defending Phase activated. Another had fans acting like this was a WWE promo battle, complete with fake match cards and exaggerated commentary like Round 1, words exchanged. Round 2, Internet Chaos. And somehow, it worked, because even people who had no idea what was going on suddenly got pulled into the story. That's how powerful the narrative became. It wasn't just trending. It was spreading. Then came the subtle celebrity reactions, not direct statements, not official takes, just those little breadcrumbs that send the internet into overdrive. A repost here, a cryptic caption there, a random "y'all need to chill" tweet that somehow made things even worse. Because when people see public figures reacting even vaguely, it validates the drama. And suddenly, this situation felt bigger than just one family disagreement. Now it felt like a moment. But here's where things got even more complicated: the contradictions. Because while one side was praising Karlissa for speaking up, another side started questioning the timing. Why now? What triggered this? Is there something we don't know? And just like that, the conversation shifted again. Now people weren't just reacting. They were investigating. Old clips resurfaced like receipts being pulled out in a courtroom. Past interactions were analyzed, replayed, dissected like they held hidden meaning. People started building timelines, connecting dots that may or may not even exist, and creating narratives that felt just believable enough to spread. Because once the internet smells a story, it doesn't let go. Meanwhile, Blueface's name kept floating in and out of the conversation like a shadow over everything. Some fans started asking where he stands. Others assumed he's staying quiet on purpose. And a few went as far as saying his silence is part of the reason this situation is spiraling the way it is. And let's be real, silence in moments like this, it never stays neutral. It either calms things down or it makes people louder. And in this case, yeah, it made people louder. Then came the wild comparisons. Because you already know the internet can't resist turning real-life drama into cinematic storytelling. Some fans compared this to the Kardashians airing out family secrets for ratings. Others said it felt like a Zeus Network reunion episode that got out of control. A few even joked it was giving Marvel-level plot twists with every new development. And honestly, none of it felt exaggerated anymore, because every time the situation looked like it might settle, something new popped up. A new clip, a new reaction, a new opinion that added another layer of tension. And through all of it, one thing became painfully clear: this situation is not slowing down. If anything, it's building. The sides are more divided. The opinions are stronger. The energy is more intense. And the stakes, yeah, they feel higher now, even if nobody wants to admit it out loud. Because beneath all the noise, all the memes, all the debates, there's a question sitting there that nobody can ignore anymore. What happens next? Does someone step in and calm things down? Does Nevaeh respond and flip the narrative? Does Karlissa double down again and push things even further? Or does this situation evolve into something even bigger than what we're seeing right now? Because if there's one thing this entire saga has proven, it's that nothing about it is predictable. And just when the internet thought it had seen it all, another twist started forming in the background. A detail so unexpected, it might change how everyone looks at this situation. And just when it felt like the internet had reached its limit, when every angle had been debated, every opinion posted, every meme recycled into oblivion, the energy didn't slow down. It shifted. It got quieter, heavier, and way more uncomfortable. The kind of tension that doesn't scream. It lingers. Because now the situation isn't just drama anymore. It's consequences. It's relationships being stretched in real time. It's people realizing that once something hits the internet at this level, there's no real way to take it back. And suddenly, all those loud reactions start turning into deeper questions. For Karlissa Saffold, the narrative has locked in. She's either the one who stood up and spoke her truth, or the one who pushed something too far into the public? And the internet, it hasn't agreed on which one it is. Supporters are still riding hard, defending every word, while critics are dissecting every sentence like it's evidence. But here's the twist: no matter which side people are on, nobody's ignoring her anymore. And that attention, it comes with weight. Because once you step into that spotlight with something this personal, every move after that gets watched 10 times harder. Every response, every silence, every reaction becomes part of the story, whether you want it to or not. Meanwhile, Nevaeh's position has become even more complicated. Because now, it's not just about defending herself. It's about deciding how to respond. Does she go public and match the energy? Does she stay quiet and let the storm burn out? Or does she choose a completely different route that nobody expects? And that decision, yeah, it matters more than people think. Because in situations like this, the response can flip the entire narrative. One statement can shift sympathy. One post can change perception. One moment can rewrite the whole storyline. And while all of this is unfolding, Blueface remains the quiet center of the storm. Not silent in a peaceful way. Silent in a way that keeps people guessing. Because whether he says something or not, his presence is tied to everything happening here. And the internet doesn't like unanswered questions, so speculation keeps building. Some think he's staying out of it on purpose. Others believe he's handling things privately. And a few are convinced that his next move, whenever it comes, could either calm everything down or set it off all over again. But here's where the story takes its heaviest turn, because beneath all the noise, all the opinions, all the sides being taken, there's something deeper sitting in the middle of this situation. Something people are starting to realize as the dust tries and fails too. Settle. This isn't just about words. It's about relationships. It's about boundaries. It's about what happens when private family dynamics get pulled into a public space where millions of people feel entitled to comment, judge, and pick sides. And once that line gets crossed, it's hard to draw it again. Now the aftermath is starting to form, even while the situation is still unfolding. Reputations are being shaped in real time. Support systems are being tested. Alliances are shifting quietly behind the scenes while the internet focuses on the loudest moments. Because what happens publicly always has a private ripple. And that ripple, that's the part nobody sees. Still, the internet doesn't slow down. It keeps asking for more. More updates, more reactions, more tea. Because in this space, silence feels like suspense. And suspense feels like content waiting to happen. But here's the final twist that nobody can ignore. What if this isn't the peak? What if everything we've seen so far is just the buildup? Because the way this situation has unfolded layer by layer, reaction by reaction, it doesn't feel finished. It feels like a chapter in a longer story. One that hasn't revealed its biggest moment yet. Imagine it. A response that flips the narrative. A reveal that changes how people see everything. A moment that forces everyone to rethink the sides they chose. Because if there's one thing this entire saga has proven, it's that nothing stays simple for long. And as the tension keeps stretching, as the opinions keep clashing, as the entire internet waits for the next move, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. This isn't just about who said what. It's about what happens after. Who stands where? Who backs down? Who pushes forward? And most importantly, who controls the story when the noise finally fades? Because when that moment comes, and trust me, the outcome won't just be about this situation. It'll define what comes next. And judging by how unpredictable everything has been so far, yeah, that next chapter, it might shake everything. Now let's be real for a second. If you made it all the way through this level of chaos, you're not just watching anymore, you're invested. Because this isn't your average internet drama. This is family tension, public statements, and a storyline that keeps twisting like it refuses to end. So I need to know, where do you stand in all of this? Are you backing Karlissa Saffold for speaking her truth and standing on business no matter how messy it gets? Or are you riding with Nevaeh, feeling like this situation went way to public and crossed a line that shouldn't have been crossed? And don't just drop a name and disappear. I want full breakdowns in the comments. Who's right? Who's wrong? What should have been handled differently? And most importantly, do you think this situation is done? Or do you feel like something even bigger is about to happen? Because let's be honest, this doesn't feel finished. Not even close. It feels like we're sitting right in the middle of a season finale, waiting for that one moment that flips everything upside down. And knowing how unpredictable this whole situation has been, you already know the next twist is going to have the internet going crazy all over again. So go ahead, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like you're locking in for the next episode. And turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update when this drama heats up again. Because trust me, it will end if you think this was wild. Just wait until the next chapter drops. Because over here, we don't just talk about the chaos. We break it down, flip it, and serve it hot. Stay locked in with Celeb Sync, where the drama never cools off and the tea is always boiling. Cools off and the tea is always boiling.